And this is the ATF Gunrunner Scandal, if we can call it that. The ATF knowingly gave the green light to gun store owners in Arizona to sell guns to suspected members of a cartel. Let's go to William Lajeunesse, who's live in our LA bureau, to talk about this. Do I have that wrong? What is this?
Well, Greg, first of all, over at the Department of Justice, where ATF is now based, they are closing ranks and circling the wagons because they know this investigation and what's come up about it is making them look very bad. And it's much bigger than just Brian Terry, the Border Patrol agent who was killed in December down near Nogales. It is becoming a major scandal. Now, the intent of this program was to track and to stop weapons flow to Mexico. Many say it was a deadly failure. Now, you know in the movies how cops would sell small amounts of drugs to low-level guys so they could climb the ladder and get the big fish? Well, that was Project Gunrunner. Now, it worked with drugs. It did not work with guns.
What people don't understand is how long we're going to be dealing with this. All right, those guns are gone. They're gone. We can't, if somebody gave the order right now, go get them and bring them back, it can't be done. Okay? There's no telling, by the time one is recovered in a crime, how many previous crimes it committed before we got to it.
But already those crimes are showing up in Mexico and the U.S. Guns that were bought here by so-called straw buyers working for the Mexican cartels. Now we know that alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, the very agency which is charged with stopping that from happening, was in fact encouraging U.S. gun stores to break the law.
They would tell us we'd say, well, do you want us to stop selling them? Is there something here we should be aware of? Oh, no. Continue to sell them. Just let us know after the fact.
Do you feel duped?
Absolutely.
So here's how it worked. The ATF allowed Arizona gun stores to sell to suspected straw buyers, in some case 10, 20, 30 AK-47s to the same person over just a few months. Now, the ATF could have said no, or later seize the guns in an investigation and arrest. But with Project Gunrunner, the gun store owners got the green light to make the sale, even though those agents knew the buyer was a straw for the cartels. In total, the U.S. Attorney's Office says Arizona gun stores sold more than 1,000 guns to just over a few dozen criminals, with the knowledge that ATF knew that these guns would be showing up at crime scenes, including the one that killed Brian Terry.
I think they put these guns out there and they've lost them, and now one of our own have got killed with one, and they've made a big mistake, and the government hates to make a mistake.
You would think such a murder and a killing would make an impact, and that they would revise their policy, or at least review their policy, and we have no indication that this is the situation.
Now, Greg, the Attorney General has called for an Inspector's General investigation into Gunrunner and these allegations. However, Senator Grassley wants a congressional hearing. He says it's not fair to let those guys basically look after themselves. He wants something independent. That's the fox guarding the hen house. He wants a congressional hearing. However, he is not the chairman. It is run by Democrats. Senator Pat Leahy of Vermont, who critics would say is trying to protect Attorney General Eric Holder. He will not call for that independent investigation. So there's a hearing right now on Capitol Hill. In fact, I'm looking at it right now, where Senator Grassley is grilling the Homeland Security Secretary, John Napolitano, because in this Gunrunner task force, Greg, there are agents from the ATF, also ICE, which is part of Homeland Security, as well as the attorneys with the Department of Justice, who approved all those wiretaps and all those affidavits and actually met with some of the gun store owners, giving them the green light to make the sale. And then, of course, they said that we were going to find out where that went to the cartels. But I can tell you from looking at the indictments, they never got the big fish. The guns were sold to a low-level guy, and back in Mexico, they found them at a crime scene where another low-level guy used them. They never followed the money. They never tracked the weapons, if you will. That is the scandal. Back to you.
Well, William LaJeunesse, great job of explaining a pretty complicated situation, and keep an eye on Janet Napolitano and her testimony. Wouldn't want to be her today. Thanks very much.